Hey there guys, Ephraim's Vanguard here, and welcome to this first episode of Let's Play Star Fox 2. I promised this a little while back, and we're finally getting around to it. This game is interesting, because, well, it's a sequel to Star Fox 1, which I've already played on this channel, and in retrospect, let me be upfront, I realized I was sort of being a little too harsh on the game. The fact of the matter is that I was just bad on it. I do still think that some of the game was poorly designed and hasn't aged well, but I was giving it a much rougher time than I should have, honestly. It was my fault that I was being a little brat about it, honestly. But hopefully now that I've admitted that up front, this will go a little better. Besides, Star Fox 2 does have some things different about it. Anyway, I'm coming up here to show you this QR code for the manuals if you want it. This will actually take you to a page, and it says Nintendo Japan. Don't worry, that's just the host site. It's all in English. But that'll take you to a site that has scans of all the manuals of all 20 games in here, as well as the quasi-manual, because it didn't originally have one, of Star Fox 2. And in case you're not familiar, the reason it didn't have a manual was because this game was never released until the release of the SNES Classic. It was actually almost basically fully developed before it was cancelled, and many of its ideas were reworked and put into Star Fox 64 instead, because this came out towards the end of the or was planned to come out towards the end of the Super Nintendo's lifespan, and they figured, you know, it's a pretty 3D focused game, why don't we put it on the system designed for 3D? And the result was Star Fox 64, which is pretty good. But until that point, there had just been a bunch of ROMs of this floating around on the internet of almost complete versions of the game, but not quite finished. And eventually, Nintendo, when they released this SNES Classic, they decided to tune up the last little bits and finally release the game. And I want to show the manual off right there because I'm going to put in the description, and if I can figure out how to do it, put that little card thing up in the corner of the eye. It'll come up right now if I figure out how to do it. That'll link to an unlisted video that'll have me reading over the manual and covering all that, because it includes some design stuff that I think is pretty interesting, aside from it just going into in-depth about the mechanic of the game. And I didn't do that before with the other ones because I didn't feel it was necessary, but this is different, because, you know, this game wasn't released before. That manual doesn't exist outside of that little page, so why not show it off? But this game is basically housed. It's impressive that this game, it essentially runs on Super Nintendo hardware, so take that as what you will. It has those familiar Star Fox graphics. That's supposed to represent an explosion. That's a dragon or something. It ate a ship. That's rude. Caused 2 other explosions. And the camera flies into its mouth. My, the Gray Fox sure looks different. That's actually a pretty cool note on the title screen, how a star in the background is Andross's metallic eye. Because, spoiler alert, that is Andross. He somehow survived Star Fox 1, and he's back, because he always ends up surviving, and he's back to, almost quoted the DK rap, but I'm not going to. Also, it's copyright 1996, because that's when they originally were going to release this game. That's just sad. But you'll notice that we have 6 members of the Star Fox team this time, and it's going to... No, don't do that. No, skip that. We have 6 members of the Star Fox team, and we can choose between mono and stereo. We're going stereo, of course. The record is scores, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Go back to the title. No, I didn't mean that. Alright, so mission... I'll get back into the Star Fox team in a moment. Our options are between normal, hard, and expert, which we can eventually unlock. I'm not going to be doing that anytime soon, because the manual said you have to play it through on hard and certain other things, but that's not going to happen, because, as we've established, I'm bad. So we're going to go normal. I have returned. I shall make the Cornerians suffer. Inhabitants of Corneria, you shall fear my vengeance. I will demonstrate my awesome power on all of Lilat. Yeah, they didn't bother keeping a secret this time. And many ships warp out. Things are happening. Star Fox team, do you read me? I have terrible news. No exclamation point. You're pretty somber about this, aren't you, General Pepper? Our sworn enemy, the fiend Andross, is alive. Even as we speak, he is launching an assault on Corneria, the giant blue planet that's in the bottom left corner of the screen. The battle carriers and attack forces of Andros are now advancing on Corneria. Enemy bases have been established on overrun planets, all in the span of a couple of seconds. Planetary missiles will be fired from these enemy bases. Once again, we must ask for your assistance, Star Fox. You better pay me. Corneria will survive if it sustains minor damage. But actually, now that I'm remembering that, isn't Star Fox like not a mercenary team in this canon, this timeline? They're like actually just Cornerian pilots, like an elite Cornerian pilot team. Oh, General Pepper, come on. Blah 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 blah. Damage, but once damage reaches 100%, it is all over. Yeah, the game will be over then. Engage the forces of Andros while at the same time keeping damage to Corneria at the lowest level possible. Good luck. And you capitalize luck? Come on, General Pepper, get your grammar right. Is that all? Is that all your exposition for me? Alright, so this is what I was talking about. Here we have our selection of pilots. We don't have to play as Fox this time. We get one main character and one character we select as our wingman. As you might expect, we have Fox McCloud here. Falco Lombardi, if that's what his last name is, I'm not sure. Peppy Hare. Slippy Toad. And two new pilots, Miu and Faye, who are supposedly both residents of Corneria who joined up after the event of the first Star Fox. That's interesting. Oh, never mind. It's not that interesting. Anyway, you might notice that there's some subtle differences between these three. Fox and Falco have a normal R-Wing. There's actually 3 separate ships that you get in this game, and which ones you have is determined by the pilot that you choose. Fox and Falco have the regular R-Wing, the one that's been established before. It basically functions the same. It's an all-around vehicle. Mixes defense, speed, offense, all that sort of stuff pretty nicely. And these also have select items with them. Of course, the regular R-Wing has smart bombs, as you might imagine. Peppy and Slippy, on the other hand, Slippy looks angry there. Also, his chin's like growing out. Ugh, let's get off of you. I prefer Peppy. But Peppy and Slippy have a defensive R-Wing, an armored R-Wing, as indicated by the fact that it has extra 2 shields and actually extra shields and is slower, and it also takes a longer time to charge the lasers, because that's what the E-charge is. That's how long it takes for your lasers to charge. And then finally, Miu and Faye have fast R-Wings that are low defense, but are pretty offensive and can charge up their lasers quickly. Fast, offensive, but can't take much of a beating, which is why we should avoid these two at all costs. Sorry, new characters, you're out of the running here. So, if I was smart, I would go Peppy and Slippy, because God knows I need all the shields I can. Oh, I forgot to mention these 2 special items. Peppy and Slippy, theirs is, it was something weird. It was like space recharge or something like that. And what it does is it repairs your shields. So any damage that you've taken, I don't know how much specifically repairs, but some damage you've taken gets repairs. Whereas Faye and Miu, theirs is invincibility for a short time, which actually matches with their playstyle very nicely. Sort of helps to cover that defense a little bit. And then anyway, the pilots, their R-Wings are either red or blue. But generally I prefer all-around sorts of vehicles, and I also know how the R-Wings control, so we're going to choose Fox and Falco to start this off with. But before that, I want... no? That's not what I want. It's what happened. I was actually going... I just realized that wasn't A, it was R. I was trying to figure out the controls, because I played a short demo of this, and the controls threw me off a little bit. But Fox and Falco are flying off with. That was something. Blah, 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 blah. To engage the enemy, land on a planet, and intercept ships. Switch positions with your wingman by pressing select. That's useful to know. I need to remember that. Return to your mothership to warp to any free planet. You're taking this seriously. You're calling these planets either conquered or free. That's like some life or... well, it is life or death, I guess, but... anyway. your mothership. Use the ship to power up and to power up your shields and warp. So if we need to recharge, that's where we head. That's a pretty useful thing. Now, here's the thing about this game. There isn't just a route that you take or a map sort of system like there is in Star Fox 1 and 64, respectively. Instead, this giant map thing, here's the kicker. We're going to go to the mothership. It's almost a sort of real-time battle thing, because you saw me fly to the ship there. As I was flying, the enemy ship started moving too. So we're going to confirm. What do we have? I probably want to go to Meteor. Or Eldard. What a name is that? Actually, yeah, Eldard. So warp there. Warping doesn't cause the enemies to move, but once you're over here, you want to engage the enemies. And you actually sort of need to lead a little bit. Like, for some reason, if I wanted to go over here, I wouldn't just directly hit these fighters. I'd actually want to aim like a little bit over here to intercept them. Because again, when you move, the enemies move. That's sort of the thing about this. That's actually a really cool idea, having dang, Venom's already right there. But like having a real-time system in this, that might not be like the best term for it, but it's the first thing that's coming to my mind. And it's like, it actually really separates this game and makes it cool. But anyway, first things first, we're going to intercept the fighters over here. Right above this planet. Alright. Let me make sure I got shoot down. That is shoot. Your boosters are activated by pressing Y. Thank you, Falco. Thank you for not just insulting me like you do in some games. Charge up your lasers. Do they lock on, or are they just more powerful? I don't know. I can't aim. Oh, I got hit. First one of many. That little meter on the right, that's going up and down, that's your altitude meter, which, if you're roaming around in 3D space like this, is pretty necessary. Especially when you're first person. Your boosters are activated by pressing Y. What was 2? Oh, I destroyed a target, that's what. Nice. Where's this other enemy? You're flying too slow. Press Y to speed up. Alright, Falco, let's see you destroy some. But we're going to continue over here. Get this poor sap. I don't know if there's any fancy maneuvers you can do to catch up to these guys. Enemy out of range? Oh, I forgot. It doesn't just spin you around like they do in Star Fox 64. You actually have to manually do it, but whatever. We're just going to catch up to him. Right over here. It wasn't that bad, and I think it's still only the one dude, so we'll get him pretty hard. You can run, but you can't hide, bud. Yep. That was simple. Clear time, 2 seconds. Total time, 5 something. I'm not sure what that was. But you might notice that it wasn't counting down, so we didn't have a limited time in the thing. It was actually counting up while we were in the fly into the battle carrier and destroy its energy core. Oh, we have a 3D model here. This is getting fancy. I might have bit off more than I could chew. Oh man, I probably should have recharged my shields, because knowing me, I'll die. You're not going to give me any, like, detailed battle readouts? Oh well. So this looks like it's much more traditional. Star Fox being an on-rails space shooter. This section, before it was sort of... what are my brakes? That's a bomb! That's a bomb! Oh, my gosh. Sorry, I lost my train of thought because I was getting shot. But, this is much more traditional Star Fox on rails. You're automatically flying forward. You just gotta aim and shoot and avoid. That's your job here. But before, when we were in the space battle, you might have noticed that it was basically a 3D space. That's because it was taking after all-range battle mode from the future Star Fox games, which are in full 3D. Which is, again, pretty impressive that they replicated on the SNES effectively. Press select if you want to transform. That might be useful at some point. Not now, actually. Can I turn around? I cannot turn around. Can I walk backwards? I think I can. I saw that metal. I wanted to collect it. Those are collectibles. I'm not sure what they do. Not sure what they do. But something happens. What are you? So, yeah, that's the thing about this game. You can actually transform into a walker mode. And it's much slower, but you have a bit more mobility. A bit more control, I should say. Not mobility, you're not as fast. Some nice beeps and boops in that soundtrack. Unfortunately, aiming's still a little awkward, but what does happen is what you can do is move forward, backwards, left, and right, of course. You have more control. Just not as much speed. Oh, gosh! Gosh! And stuff like that can happen. We have been hit by a planetary missile. What? General Pepper. No. I thought I took care of that. That's actually a little something I need to mention. Anyway, finishing my point. Aside from just the enhanced mobility, another reason you will want to be in the walker mode is because, your lasers are actually more powerful, because we just destroyed that thing in a moment's notice. Yeah, your goal is to fly into these things and destroy the core, and we did that pretty handily. Your lasers are more powerful that way than they are when you're flying around in the R-Wing mode. Fox does a little loop, which you can't do in this game, but he's showing off his N64 fans. It was big, but it wasn't much for us, though. So, the reason that got hit by a missile is because that time I mentioned it was counting up, not down. So we're technically not limited in time in the missions, but the rest of this actually moves around while you're in the levels. Not as quick as it does when you're actually flying, but it still does stuff. All right, let's go to the mothership. Warp via your mothership. Yes. Let's go to Corneria and intercept that missile. And I thought the missiles would move less fast than that, but apparently not. They fast. All right, we got some fighters here. Let's try and take care of them. All right, that's one down. I think... No, I didn't launch a missile. Your boosters are activated by pressing Y. No, No, they aren't. That's the bomb. Wasn't it? No. No, they are boosters. Okay. I was thinking, I didn't change the controls, even though I wanted to. I didn't change the controls, so why are you telling me this, Falco? You're flying too slow. You know what? I don't see you helping out, Falco. All you're doing is bossing me around. If I wanted to have that happen, I would have brought Peppy along. I mean, I can switch to playing as you. That would actually have you contribute something. Alright. Boosters. Boosters, let's intercept him. Yeah. Enemy out of range, but I think we can intercept him before he gets to the planet. I'm using that word a lot today. Alright, little bud. He was actually trying to swivel around me. But you're here. And I'm going to destroy you. Yep. Alright. So where to now? Probably, should we go to the carrier? Or should we go retake Titania? Or Titania. I never did figure out how to pronounce that, but oh well. That's a missile. If we go to Meteo, we can intercept the missile and then head to Venom. But do we want to do that? What's over here? Oh, another thing about, I think, the carriers and the fighters is that they can retake some of these planets. Like, if we didn't destroy that one before, I think it would have come over here and taken, a fake Saturn. Oh. And I should mention, this is our satellite defense platforms. It protects Corneria. I thought that was going to take care of the missile before, but apparently not. Apparently you have to fly right up beside it, and that's when it'll hit you. The carriers can also take this over, and the fighters might be able to, I'm not sure. But, oh, the fighters actually did attack Corneria a little. It just wasn't like a missile where it was a one-time explosion and they're gone. It was an active attack sort of thing. But I thought this would take care of the missile, but it didn't. And enemies can also take this over, which you might imagine is pretty bad since they can just fire on Corneria right there. But whatever. Why are you... Okay, that is ours. I don't know why it's pointing towards the planet. I thought it did get captured. That was concerning. Alright. You know, should I come over here and deal with Macbeth? Alright. That's 2 missiles. Alright, let's... And if you need to, you can either press B to change your route, or just... There's a cancel button, but I didn't figure it out in time. I panicked. To pause and reconsider your moves. That was simple. I enjoyed taking care of that missile. But, I can't even remember what I was saying. Alright, like, let's go to Venom. You can cancel it by pressing, one of the buttons. In this case, it was X? Is that the X button? No, that's the Y button. Sorry, I don't know my, SNES controller layout too well. But you can do that to stop your flight, and it'll pause everything here, so you don't gotta worry about that. It's only when you're flying that, you have to be concerned about enemies. There's a little glimmer right there. What is that supposed to be? Ha! Leon of the Star Wolf Wing is now here. Okay. Captain Wolf has ordered me to crush you. You didn't have an accent like that before. You're supposed to be like, I'm the great Leon. That's your Star Fox 64 voice. And probably the other games after that, because that voice is too good. That voice is too good to get rid of. But, yes! This is actually the introduction of Star Wolf. They were planned to be introduced in this game, but of course they got cut, and instead they got introduced in Nintendo 64. Leon is one of those characters who had who was fortunate enough to appear in this game and or be planned for this game and end up making his debut in 64. But here it's just Leon, so we're going to shoot him as much as we can. Oh, and in case you're wondering, yeah, you can still barrel roll. I'm just not doing it too well. Ooh, yeah, there we go. Ho ho, you have some skill, but I will not lose. Let's see that, Leon. Let's see that. It's going to feel good shooting you down, bud. You might shoot me down, though, but not quite yet. You can hear, like, some tints of the future Star Fox theme in this soundtrack, but it's not quite there. That theme is legendary. I enjoyed it a lot, but this isn't bad, I'll say. Come on. Oh, he's barrel rolling. That's why he's not taking damage. Oh, I need to wrap this up because those missiles are going places. A battle carrier has launched an attack force. Not now, Pepper. Not now, Pepper. The system defense system destroyed an enemy target. Yikes, Captain Wolf is going to have to deal with you. Oh yeah, there we go. Take that, Leon. You slowed me down too long. Whew. That was fun, though, I gotta say. It appears a puny pet rat is running around. How cute. What? Go play with your pet. Just play nice. Gwahaha. And it knows how to jump to hyperspace? Where's it going? Oh! Yeah, we're not going to be attacking the Venom right now. And annihilate it. Gosh, General Pepper, you're not playing games here. But that boss could be a problem. And there's also the attack force over here, the carrier. Yeah, that's just something we're going to have to deal with in a little bit. Next episode, I mean. So, hop to the mothership, charge up. Does that actually... Ah! Don't... Okay, it does automatically recharge your shields. It's coming towards me. Dear God, it's coming towards me. Like I said, we'll figure out what to do with that next episode. So thank you guys so much for watching this first episode, and I'll see you guys then.